خب من خوش اومدید به ویدیو دیگه از چنلمون و تو این ویدیو قراره که بریم ببینیم که چرا خونه دریک هم خیلی خوبه و همین که خیلی بده. این ویدیو زیرنویس فارسی هم داره. اگه از اینجا ویدیو خوشتون میاد لایک کامنت سابسکرایب فراموش نشه و لیتس گو. زبونم گرفت بچه‌ها دیگه. حال ندارم کل اینترو رو از اول بگیرم، ببخشید. اوکی. دستشویی خونه‌شون دیدی؟ فکرشو بکن بچه‌ها، فکرشو بکن میری تو دستشوی خونه دریک، بعد هر کی میره خونه دریک میدونی که اونجا خونه دریکه دیگه. بعد فکرشو بکن میخوای بری دستشویی برینی، میری داخل دستشویی، بعد در دستشویی باز میکنی، دستشویی درش خودش اینطوری بلند میشه، بعد تو میخوای بشینی برینی یهو میگه که اسمی کنم خیلی خفنه.
Made funnier by the insane legal battle Drake went through just to have it built.
The brick wall is an eyesore to my clients in the neighborhood.
آره بعد بچه‌ها مثلا تو حالت عادی این خونه که دریک ساخته رو نمیشونن بساختن، چون مثلا دیوارایی که میساختن میخواستن بسازن مثلا خیلی بزرگتر از حالت عادی بوده، خیلی بلندتر از حالت عادی بوده و خیلی داستانا داشته، ولی خب بالاخره تونست داداشو بگیره و بسازه.
For 6.7 million in September 2015, at which point it simply looks like this, a 1963 bungalow with a 3-car garage and swimming pool, although it was obvious that Drake was focused on a different part of the property.
He never cared about like buying a big house, he was just like, I care about buying land.
Drake bought the house for its later location, being a 2-acre lot amongst other mansions in the Toronto neighborhood of Bridle Path. The suburb ranked as the richest area in all of Canada, with its residents having an average net worth of 22 million and an average
بچه این منطقه‌ای که دریک زندگی میکنه گرونترین منطقه کاناداه که اصلا سورپرایزینگ زیاد نیستش، ولی این که اوریج نتورث آدمایی که تو اون منطقه زندگی میکنن 22 میلیونه اوریج، یعنی اوریجشون 22 میلیون و نیمه، و اینکه خرج خونهشون تو ماه نه خرج خونهشون the average home in the area 5 میلیون دلار.
value of 5.1 million. YouTube videos.
آره بچه چیزه ارزون ترین خونه یکی مثلا چیزه چی؟ من اصلا گم شدم چه اتفاقی داره میفته. آره اصلا اوریج خونه‌های اوریج خونه معمولیشون 5 میلیون دلاره. پشما نگاه خونه‌ها رو قصدن، اینا خونه نیستن حاجی، پشما.
Drake's barely decipherable 3-story mansion plans were first released to the public, which accompanied a planning notice at the front of the residence, leading to annoying petty problems before construction had even started. Drake quickly discovered that the house he'd bought to demolish had been designed by a world-famous architect, and as a result he'd be scolded by the media for wrecking a piece of history.
کسی که خونه رو درست کرده بوده واسه یکی از مثلا نجار که نمیدونم چی اسمشون، یکی از اینا که مثلا کثشره درست میکنه خونه اون رو درست میکنه، ولی مثلا طرف خیلی معروف بوده، بعد مردم میگفتن که دارید مثلا هنر رو خراب میکنی. اگه اصلا هنر بوده و مثلا واسه مردم و کشور بوده که اصلا نباید میفروختنش به کسی. این چی بهت میگم؟
Path home before tearing it down. The writer stated, "I'm pretty angry with you for considering it a teardown," while the demolition notice had comments such as, "Maybe a minor variance in zoning, but one more sad step in Toronto's blind disinterest in heritage." Although these complaints were nothing compared to the issues caused by the new design, as the proposed mansion was so freaking huge it goes beyond what's permitted there. For example, the mansion's height of 17 meters was well beyond the 11 meters permitted by council, while his
دقیقا میبینید بچه مثلا 17 متر بوده خونش و اینکه 11 متر مثلا تهش بوده، بالاترین حالتش بوده.
34 meter wide driveway was 3.5 times larger than the allowed width.
بیا دم درش مثلا بیشتر 9 متر نمیتونه باشه ولی 34 متر بوده.
But the aspect that received the most backlash was the height of Drake's new fences.
Fences more than twice as high as would otherwise be allowed. in part due to security concerns on his
اینو باز
property.
میشه فهمید، اینو میشه قبولش کرد. بالاخره ببین دریک یکی از بزرگترین خواننده‌های کل دنیاست، خونش نمیتونه انقدر پایین باشه فنساش. می‌دونی چی بهت میگم؟ همه میدونن کجا، همه میدونن کجاست دیگه بالاخره.
However, his neighbors made an effort to push back immediately.
The brick wall is an eyesore to my clients in the neighborhood, as it could be observed from almost every single room of my client's residence.
Despite this, councillors sided with Drake after learning he'd spent $1 million on trees for the property, and as a result, the building was finally approved. Roughly 2 months later, Drake's builder and architect Ferris Rafali posted this image to his Instagram with the title, "Let's get started." This was followed by another post only 8 days later, showing that the block had been completely flattened. In the process, Drake's lovely neighbors had launched another complaint against him, claiming that trees had been cut down on the property before they'd received permission to do so. As a result, Drake was now facing a fine up to $100,000 for every tree
همسایه‌اش همش دارن اسلیچ میکنن، خواهیمالی میکنن، نمیگن که فلان کارو نکردن.
This was confirmed after council's investigation, which stated there have been no violations. There have been no large trees cut down. I'm very glad that Drake and the company he has hired is obeying the law. Roughly 1 month later, an archived satellite view of the property showed that construction was back underway, which accompanied a new post on Ferris's Instagram hinting at just how crazy the mansion was going to be. This is how we build an official NBA indoor basketball court, shoring an excavation in process, which was followed by another post 1 month later showing the speed at which the house was being built. In the process, Drake came by to check out the property, which had begun framing only 4 months later, a stage which was fully completed within a matter of weeks, at which point the builder revealed another crazy detail. While the original plans put the mansion at 21,000 square feet, this number had since been doubled to 45,000 square feet, which included a 3,200 square foot master bedroom suite. For context, the size of an
وایسا
average 3-bedroom home is usually around 1,600 square feet, meaning Drake's bedroom was going to be the same size as 2 fully
یعنی اصلا حاجی حجمش اصلا نمیتونم اصلا قاطی کردم، نمیدونم چی بگم. اتاق خواب دریک از اندازه 2 تا خونه 3 خوابه است. فقط فکر کنید به این موضوع.
built middle-class homes. Although Drake showed no remorse for his extravagance, stating, "Because I was building it in my hometown, I wanted the structure to stand firm for 100 years. I wanted it to have a monumental scale and feel. It'll be one of the things I leave behind, so it had to be timeless and strong. It's overwhelming high luxury. That message is delivered through the size of the rooms. I wanted to make sure people can see the work I put in over the years, reflected from every vantage point." As construction continued, Ferris and Drake once again posed at the front of the property, although this, in combination with countless media articles listing his address, accentuated an aspect that was already a massive problem: security.
The attempts of getting into this property is daily and nightly.
As mentioned by Drake's representative, the house was being broken into every single day and night, only made worse when the house was given a geotag as Drake's mansion on Google Maps. As a result, Drake had to hire significant security.
Drake's house.
Insane. You ever seen security?
Yeah, I've seen some.
Imagine more.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. You're not getting to this guy. No chance.
With this also being seen in a video by a YouTuber named Walking Lady.
Don't go on the property, right?
Don't go what, sorry?
On the property.
And echoed in this comment reading, "I drove past his house looking to take some pictures, but there were these 3 to 4 big dudes standing out front guarding the place. What a life." In one notable incident, Drake's Toronto mansion was stormed by a knife-wielding woman who allegedly struck a security guard with a pipe, but while there were obviously some security hurdles during construction, there was no denying the house began to look incredible. After laying the slab for the basketball court, Ferris uploaded a video showing the court's entire construction process, which included a Drake-themed scoreboard, Drake-themed on-court branding, and even Drake-themed basketballs. The video received comments such as, "This is the dopest indoor court I have ever seen a celebrity have. Beats Shaq's and Jordan's." But while the basketball court could only be described as awesome, there were other aspects of the property that were better described as awesomely stupid. For example, Drake spent $700,000 on the world's most expensive bed, created specifically for Drake's
$700,000 پول تخت خوابشه. زندگیم جوکه من. $700,000
house. The bed named Grand Vividis weighs 530 kilograms or
500 کیلو
pounds. It took over
تختش
600 hours just to make a single one.
600 ساعت طول کشیده. What the fuck؟ اون تخت چیه مگه؟ 1 ماه ساختنش طول کشیده.
Side of the bed head and a dedicated team of employees who flip and clean the mattress every 3 months. In addition to the bed, Drake had a 4,000-pound bathtub delivered to his ensuite, which was made from one giant piece of marble at a cost of over $50,000. After finishing in the tub,
Holy
Drake
shit.
can get dressed in his 2-story walk-in closet,
In
which he's since
auto-
defended as being an
In
important part of the
Kubonche.
property. The bedroom is where I come to decompress from the world at the end of the night and where I open my eyes to seize the day. The bed lets you float, the shower lets you escape and gather your
بچه امیدوارم خدا این مشکلی بهتون بده، این مشکلات بوده که تو خونه خودتون گم شید.
thoughts, and the closet makes you want to talk to yourself while getting dressed. On the 5th of October 2019, roughly 3 years after construction first began, Drake posted this video to his Instagram showing that the luxury mansion was nearing completion while providing a further sneak peek into some of its wild features. There were the singing toilets we mentioned earlier, as well as quite possibly the craziest indoor swimming pool you might ever witness. However, it would have been until Drake moved into the home 6 months later that he'd also show off his separate outdoor pool, as apparently the property needed 2 separate pools. On top of this, Drake bought a custom Bosendorfer piano for an estimated $500,000, which was shown for the first time in the Tootsie Slide music video, where Drake would also display a room holding every
آره
award
اینو
he'd
تو
ever
توسی اسلات دیدم بچه، یه اتاق داره کل جایزه‌هاشو گذاشته.
won. Additionally, Drake built an entire hallway for the sole purpose of displaying basketball jerseys. And considering Drake also has sun tanning beds in his bathrooms, it's no surprise that
سونا بخار و اینجور کثشره رو بچه از ذهنتون بریزید بیرون. اونا که مثلا خیلی چیزای عادی که دریک داره، میتونی خودتو بری لیزر کنی، موهاتو لیزر کنی و اینکه خودتو بری تن کنی. تو خونه دریک میتونی تا آخر عمرت زندگی کنی و بیرون نیایی ازش.
even DJ Khaled praised the designer by stating, "Amazing job, I want you to build my next estate. I've been thinking the name of the one we're gonna build together because Embassy is incredible. Champagne Papi inspired me on another level. I have more work to do. Although even if you include Drake's 12-car garage and $10 million car collection, the mansion's often quoted value of $150 million is way over-exaggerated. The most expensive home ever listed in Bridle Path was on the other side of Drake Street, which had an asking price of $45 million in 2021. The home was built at the same time as Drake's and has a similar 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, 12-car garage and an indoor swimming pool. The property failed to sell for $45 million and has since had its price drop to $40 million. So while Drake's house is certainly more luxurious, it probably wouldn't sell for $150 million or even half of that. Despite this, Drake has certainly achieved his goal of building a monumental property, albeit at the cost of his time, money and even his
پشمام حاجی، اصلا بهش که فکر میکنی یعنی مثلا طرف داره تو خونش جی تی ای زنده، تو جی تی ای هم قفله، نمیتونی تو جی تی ای بری همچی خونه واسه خود درست کنی، نمیتونی اینقدر پول داشته باشی که همچی خونه واسه خود درست کنی. من واقعا از زبونم بند اومده. بچا تا ویدیو بعدی پیس.